Hey beautiful people of the internet, how are you guys doing today? Hopefully great. Welcome back to some Warframe. We are of course going to be talking about the top 5 most forgotten frames of all time. So quick disclaimer, this particular list has been backed up by Digital Extremes themselves, so if you guys would then like to go and review the cold hard data at your own pace, you guys can go and do so by taking a look at the link down in the description. Another thing I do want to mention is that this particular list has been based off of a number of factors, one of which is that we're only going to be mentioning frames that are at the very bottom of the list if they do not have a primed version or the prime version is at the very bottom. So for instance, if chroma or normal chroma is at the very bottom, and you know the reason for that is because the fact that people do not want to then go and use the base version just because the prime version looks substantially better. So keep that in mind. We're only going to be talking about frames that have a prime version or don't have a prime version whatsoever, like Varuna. But before I continue with the video any further, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like to support me or the channel any further, do remember to leave a like on this video. It always helps me out substantially. Spartan, click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos and streams. Ladies and gentlemen, we also do have a merch store, so if you guys would like to then go and support your boy during these tough times, you can go and do so by taking a look at the link in the description to our merch store. We also do have a Discord server, so if you guys are a lonely tenor who needs some general assistance or would like to then go and hang out with yours truly, you can go and do so by joining the Discord server, as this is the place to go and be. What are you guys waiting for? Go and join the server. There will be a link down in the description. Without further ado, let's get this video on the road, shall we? Alright, so taking up our number 5th spot is we do have Banshee Prime. Now, I'm not really surprised about Banshee Prime being the least used frame, just because of the fact that she's extremely squishy, very difficult to go and use, but hey, at the end of the day, she's a very powerful Warframe. She can then go and activate the sonar ability to then go and, you know, reveal the weak spots of the enemies, which does go scale based off of power strength. So the more power strength you guys have, the more damage output you'll definitely go and have, because remember, every weakness or every spot that you go and reveal on the enemy, you'll then have an increase to your overall damage of multiplicative damage. Now the reason why she's mainly just disused the most is just because of the fact that she is a literal glass cannon. She can dish out the damage output but can't go and receive it in return. Overall, you're going to have to then go and add mods like adaptation, rolling guard, and of course take full advantage of shield gating. Moving on to our 4th spot is Caliban. Now listen, I've never really played as Caliban. I personally do not have him as a frame. I have been trying to go and get him for a while, but there's so many things to go and do in Warframe, such as go and grind out this resource or go and make this video. The point is, my hands are tight, so I haven't really had the time to go and grind out for Caliban. But according to the stats, Caliban is apparently one of the second most least used Warframes out there based off of our personal criteria, because you remember, he does not have a primed version, therefore he is one of the least used frames out there according to this particular filter. Moving on to our 3rd spot is we do have our wolf based Warframe known as Varuna. Now the whole community was really upset about Varuna just because of the fact that Varuna is going to be a female, you know, wolf frame instead of a male one. I don't really know what the big deal about is. You know, it's Digital Extremes game, they can go and use it for whatever they want. But if I had to put my doubt on or put my opinion on this, I think the main reason why Varuna has been the least used frame out of this list is just because of the fact that, you know, people would like to have an exalted based ability, because remember, if you didn't know, her 4th ability allows you to then go into wolf mode, and then you'll be able to go and strike the enemies 4 or 5 times. Now one thing I do want to say is, I think it would be personally, I think Varuna would be a much better frame if she had an exalted based ability, because I mean, imagine just running around as this wolf and just start like scratching the living daylights out of all these enemies and adding all those slash blocks to just absolutely decimate them. Now one thing I personally don't like about Varuna is the fact that she scales quite weirdly off of endgame. If you guys go and add the Archon mods, some particular abilities will, status procs will be a lot more effective, but therefore, you know, Varuna is quite a difficult frame to go and use and survive, just because of the fact that you go invisible, the moment you start attacking, it'll just break, just like how Ivara's one does go and work. She does have a damage reduction ability, and on top of that, you could definitely say she's the most complicated frame to go and use in this particular list. So Varuna, our werewolf frame, is going to be one of the most least used frames out there. Moving on to our 2nd spot when it comes to the most used frames of all time, we're going to be referring to Grendel. This one really did take me by surprise, because Grendel did receive a massive buff to all of his abilities. He's a lot more effective and he can actually go and decimate all the enemies without trying so much. If you want proof, I'll be leaving a link down in the description, and I'll be just you guys at the top right, where I then go and face off against level 600s with the newly reworked Grendel. This one took me by surprise just because of the fact that, you know, he received this brand new rework. He's extremely powerful. He can take out very high end enemies and still dish it out with scaling damage. And the funny thing is that the most popular helmet ability, I believe, is from his Nourish, where if an enemy shoots you, you'll be able to then go and spread viral, 10 stacks of viral. If you didn't know, if you can go and spread 10 stacks of viral, you'll be able to increase your overall damage output by a percentage of 300% multiplicative damage. I think it's 300%, or the 240, I'm not too sure. The point is, viral is the most powerful secondary or primary, secondary element out there, just because the fact that it can go and buff your initial damage output. And Nourish not only gives you that, but will also give you the ability to go and tank a couple of shots. So overall, Grendel is an extremely powerful frame, and I do suggest you go and take a look at my build. There will be a link down in the description, and it will be suggested to you guys at the top right. So I highly suggest you guys go and take a look at it. And finally, taking up our spot of the most forgotten frame of all time, or most least used one, and that is Baruch Prime. Now this to me personally is a massive surprise, just because of the fact that when he came out, Baruch Prime was the very first Prime Warframe. I actually did a sponsored giveaway by Digital Extremes. With that did come one of the most powerful builds for Baruch Prime ever, and that is what I did was that I then gone and added the helmet ability, where I can then go and put on Mirage's Eclipse, therefore I can go and deal a lot of damage. Now if you want to know the details of my particular build, there will be a link down in the description, and it will be suggested to you guys at the top right. So I highly suggest you guys go and take a look at it. But this is a big surprise to me, because Baruch Prime is a very powerful frame out there. He can then go and have infinite scaling damage, deal lots and lots of red crits, and just absolutely blow through enemies' hordes just like trying whatsoever. Overall, Baruch is one of those prime frames out there that if you go and bring into an endurance run, you can literally go and turn your brain off and just go and decimate all the enemies that dare face you. Ladies and gentlemen, I make some pretty awesome Warframe content. If you would like to go from 0 to hero as fast as humanly possible, you can go and do so by go ahead and take a look at the rest of my videos. There will be some links to some playlists down in the description. Some of them will be at the top right, and there will be some at the front of your screen now. Ladies and gentlemen, do remember to leave a like on this video. It does help me out substantially. Spartan, click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos and streams. Do remember to take a look at our merch store, and we also do have a Discord server. Once again, there will be a link down in the description. I'm make like a banana and split.